Welcome to A Poor Millionaire with your host, Curtis, a poor millionaire. Today, we're going to be talking about a very fascinating subject, taxes. Everybody hates taxes, and I hate them too. However, I enjoy a good tax conversation. And the reason why I enjoy a good tax conversation or doing research on taxes is because it saves me money. And anything that saves me money makes you money. So, let's learn about taxes. Let's expand our beliefs. Some people believe that you have to pay exactly X amount. Like, let's say you're making a normal income and you're paying 45% of your income in taxes through state, local, whatever. And they believe that that is exactly what you're supposed to pay every single year, regardless. And if it goes up, well, you pay more. They can't get that out of their conscious mind. They don't understand when they hear that Donald Trump paid basically zero taxes. They're like, oh, he must be a crook. And maybe he is a crook. Who knows? And maybe he did cheat on his taxes. Who knows? But I do know that there are business owners out there that pay little to no tax. Amazon's lost money consecutively. Tesla lost money consecutively. These companies aren't making a profit. How do you pay taxes when you're not making a profit? How do you still stick around? This is a tax strategy. It's also a business strategy. What you do is you take your business and you reinvest your money constantly. So this is one of the reasons why you start a business, is so that you can reinvest your money and you can grow your wealth without paying exorbitant taxes legally. And this is all for entertainment because I'm a hokey guy on the internet. So don't take everything I say 100% facts. Most important thing you can do when you're talking about taxes is you need to do your own research. You need to figure out where you're at in the tax strategy. Where is the best way for you to limit your taxable income? Limit your, as a person who's trying to get rich, or as a person who's trying to get ahead in life, you're never going to get ahead if you're paying your maximum amount of taxes and you haven't done your maximum amount of deductions and your maximum lowering of your taxes. You think that Warren Buffett pays if he's making like $4 billion a year, you think he's paying 45% of that $4 billion a year? Do you know how much money that'd be? Like $2 billion. You think he's paying $2 billion in taxes on the $4 billion a year he's making? No, he's not. And he'll even say, I pay less taxes than my secretary. And then he says something stupid like, that's not right. But yet he does it. Why does he do it? Why does he pay less taxes than his secretary? He pays less taxes than his secretary because the system is set up to reward people who are in real estate and people who are in business. And if you're in business and you're not reporting a profit legally, because you've spent all of your money, not because you're hiding it or you're trying to play little funny games or anything, but because you reinvested that money into building the business, or because you paid employees, or because you've just ran out of money by the end of the year and you had no money left over, you didn't make a profit, then you can you'll have a loss and you can actually carry over that loss. But remember, all of this you need to do your own research on. You need to consult a CPA. You need to find a CPA. I'm going to do an entire video on finding a CPA, because finding a good CPA, and it's not just a good CPA, it has to be a CPA that understands what you're trying to accomplish and deals with people like you all the time. If you're in real estate, you need a CPA who has other people in real estate that they are doing their taxes for. If you're a small business owner, you need to find someone. If you've got a person that all they do is high-end, high-skilled, high-salary employees, and then you come along with a business, they're gonna try to put you into that pigeonhole. They're gonna try to force all of these things on it. You need someone who actually specializes in small businesses and deals with the small business write-offs. This is what you need to do to lower your taxes. You need to take all of your deductions. You need to figure out. You need to look. Make it a game. I made it a game. I made it a game to find every single deduction possible. One of the things I did was I had 2 credit cards. I have one credit card for personal stuff, everything personal that I believe is not, I have to pay taxes on. I use that credit card for. If it's a business expense, then I have a credit card specifically for business expense. If it's a business expense, I run it on that credit card. Now, I try to make everything that I do a business expense. How do I do this? Well, number one, my hobbies are, every hobby that you have, you should turn it into a business and legally, and try to make money on it. Like, this is YouTube is a hobby, but I'm gonna make money on it. It's like, I know if you hear that, you're like, hobby, all right, you're not really trying to make money. No, I am legitimately trying to make money in my hobby of making YouTube. So that means when I buy a camera for YouTube, I buy a microphone, I buy camera equipment, I buy this desk for this video, and all the different stuff that goes around that, that is a write-off for this business that is trying to make money, and I will make money. So you gotta be very careful on how you say these things. This is one reason why a lot of times on the internet you will not hear people talk about taxes, because they're so scared of the IRS. And you should be scared of the IRS, which is why you should seek legal advice from a lawyer if necessary, and talk to a licensed CPA. Every single thing that I ever tell you, you need to do your own research, and you need to talk to a CPA and verify that you can accomplish every single thing. There's nothing, and the laws change. You could be watching this video 5 years from now and the laws are completely different. Currently, from my understanding, is they just took entertainment off. Used to, you could write off entertainment. Now they're hoping they're going to put that back on. So right now, currently, you cannot write off entertainment while let's say you take a client to a football game. Used to, you could write off 50% of that. Now you can't. Currently, you can write off 50% if you take a client to a dinner. In some cases, you can write off even more. You can write off 100% of that if it's employees and a specific employee function. I used to do this in my old company. Legally, buy the entire company food for Christmas or Thanksgiving or something, and then you could write off the entire amount of the food. But if you just normally, the IRS knows you have to eat, so they're going to say that's a 50-50 write-off. You should almost have 3 credit cards. I don't eat out a lot. It's the reason why I don't have 3 credit cards, and I very rarely eat out. And if I do eat out, it's just a personal expense. It's not actually much of a business expense. There are occasions I do eat out, and it's a business expense, but it's very rare. So I only have 2 credit cards. Well, I've got a ton of credit cards, but 2 specifically, and this is what you got to get, and the whole reason why I bring this up with the 2 credit cards is so you can start understanding as an individual that there are personal expenses that are taxable, that you're going to have to pay taxes on. Then there are business expenses that you're not going to pay taxes on legally, that you're going to have your CPA look at, make sure it's legal for you to write off that item, and you need to have a good, reasonable reason why you bought this item and how you're going to use this item in your current business that is open to make money. All right, and you got to be legit. You need to actually be trying to make money. Don't play games. Don't play games with the IRS. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The IRS is not the people we want to play with. That's why, like I said, it's why a lot of business owners won't even talk about taxes. They're so scared of the IRS. And believe me, everyone's scared of the IRS. Remember, start thinking of taxes. If you're currently already know all this stuff, it's good to brush up on it. It's good to make it into a game. It's good to figure out what is the current situation on taxes. Watch more YouTube videos on current laws. But YouTube is just for entertainment. You watch a YouTube, I tell you all this stuff, this is just to expand your mind, and then you need to do some real research. When you do the real research, you need to actually read some articles on taxes, and then from that articles, you develop a strategy, and then verify it with the IRS. Read the IRS's actual tax information, and then take it to a CPA and go, hey, I believe this to be true based on what the IRS says. What do you think? And then the CPA is going to go, oh, I've never done it that before, so no, you can't do that, son. And that's when you go, I need another CPA, right? Then you go to another CPA, and then another CPA, you say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is why I think that it's legal, and this is what I have from the IRS that says it's legal. What do you think? Now, he's got to read it, understand it, and tell you exactly how to do it. and not just some guy goes along and says whatever you want. You're not looking for a CPA, or you're not looking for anybody, a lawyer or CPA or business advisor. This just tells you what you want to hear. What you're looking for is someone who has experience in what you're trying to accomplish. The complicated. You need to have a complete understanding, and then that CPA needs to tell you, these are the rules for what you're trying to accomplish, and this is how it's going to get done, and this is how I can keep you legal, and this is how I can make sure that if we get it audited, that we can explain to an IRS agent why we decided we did it this way, and why it's legal, and why it's a legitimate tax write-off. This is very complicated, but the idea here is so you understand. You've got to be able to sit in front of your IRS agent and say, this is why I did this, this is why it's a write-off, and this is specifically for this business, and go from there. And if you can't do that, then you need to figure out another tax strategy and talk to another CPA. But it's like I said, you got to give your CPA the information. Your CPA looks at it, he reads it, and he tells you how to legitimately write off everything. Maybe Trump did that. Think about it. Maybe Trump went into a CPA and he said, hey, I want to pay zero taxes. And the CPA said, I've got you, right? And hopefully, it was all legal. But, who knows? Who knows? When you're paying zero taxes and you own that much real estate and you're that rich, it's going to be hard for me to believe that all of it is going to be legit. So it's one of the reasons why he probably doesn't want to. It's the other thing is people aren't going to understand. When you become a business owner and you're paying less taxes than the guy who's a high-skilled, high-wage employee, he's not going to understand. When he's paying $45,000 or he's paying $100,000 in taxes and you're paying like $10,000 to $20,000 in income taxes or less, he's not going to understand that. Even though you guys are making the same basic amount of money, you're driving the same car, you're living in the same neighborhood, you're basically the same type of income coming in, but you get to keep more because yours is a business and because you legitimately wrote off legitimate business expenses that you verified with the IRS is legal, that you verified with your CPA that's legal. Remember, all this is entertainment, wacky entertainment. It's not legal advice. The first thing you've got to do is figure out what you're trying to accomplish and then take it to a CPA. Now, CPAs can range in money from, for a personal business, somewhere between $500 to $2,000. So this isn't going to be super cheap. But the right CPA, it depends upon how complicated what you're trying to do is gonna be. Most things are not going to be that complicated with the right CPA. You should be able to get it down to a more reasonable, get it down to a more reasonable amount of money. And remember, if you have a company, you have to pay a CPA just to do the books for your company, and then you have to pay that CPA just to do your tax return. So that's two different entities, and that's why you have, like I said, start thinking of your taxes and things I can write off, things I can't write off. Make sure you understand all the rules. Make sure you bring it to your accountant and your tax CPA, and have him go over it. Make sure he's like, hey, yeah, that's legit. This is why it's legit. This is what you have to do. This is what we need to do. And this is how you can write this off. And yes, you put these expenses on this card. You put those expenses on this card. Obviously, when you buy food at the grocery store and diapers and clothes and baby clothes and all that stuff, none of that can be written off. Now, obviously, some clothes in certain situations can be written off, but that's like business. It's all complicated, and it's always changing. That's the other thing. What we can do today, we can't do tomorrow. What we could do today is something that we couldn't do yesterday. So the taxes are always changing. They're always making you jump through different hoops and doing different stuff. But here is one of the biggest things about taxes that you need to remember. They don't want businesses to go under, which means they cannot tax you on every dollar that comes into that business. All right, remember that, because if you make $20,000 and you have 5 employees and you have the rent and you have all these different expenses, that's going to cut down. You make $20,000, but you have $15,000 worth of expenses. Obviously, you have to pay those expenses first. But if the IRS is like, nah, bro, I'm going to take half, right? You're out of business. You can't run a business like that. They're like, nah, bro, I'm gonna take half, right? Then they're like, hey, give me $10,000, then pay $15,000. Now you're at $25,000 that you have to pay in order to keep your business open. You only made 20 grand. You made zero money, and you lost money because you got to pay the IRS. You're out of business. Well, the IRS doesn't want your business to go out of business. So that's the good thing about the government. They don't want to put you out of business. That brings me to the second thing. Real estate. They don't want to take your real estate. The IRS does not want it. The government doesn't want to own your real estate. Luckily, we live in a capitalist society. Obviously, if it's communist, they want your real estate. But one of the reasons why our capitalist system works is because the individual is responsible for the real estate. And the IRS and the local and state government, they don't want to deal with your real estate. They want you fixing the toilet. They don't want to fix the toilet. They want you renting it. They want you upgrading it. They want you taking care of it. They don't want it. All right. So they're going to give you every option to make sure that you can easily make a profit. Whatever it takes, they're going to make that happen for you. So they're going to give you deductions. They're not going to take this high percentage of that income. They're going to give you all the deductions, depreciations. They're going to make it as easy as possible. That's why you want to be a business owner and you want to own real estate. Those are the two ways to avoid legally, with the help of a tax attorney. And remember, you're on the internet. This is entertainment only. This should be more entertaining today. I'm sorry. I'm off my game. I just went to a tanning booth and fried. They got me they put me in one with just the brand new lights, and I'm a cooked turkey right now. Happy Thanksgiving. All right. So, business owners, real estate, best ways to write off taxes. There's a million ways to do it. Obviously, if you're a high-paid employee, there's all sorts of little things you can do, like Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, 401ks, health saving plans. There's a million ways. If you're a high-skilled employee, you're already making $200,000 a year. Limit your taxes through legal means of Roth IRAs, put together a tax plan. Obviously, if your company's giving you a 401k, max that out. They're basically giving you free money. They're like 1-for-1 on 401k. You'd be stupid not to take that free money. All right, max that out. Roth, you got to figure out a tax strategy based on where you're at. All right, and obviously if you're making like a massive amount of money as a high-skilled employee, and it's not easily transferred into opening your own company, or it's going to take, let's say you have a 5-year plan. I don't know why it would take 5 years. Let's say you have a 2-year plan. Let's break it down to a smaller time. You have a 2-year plan to take your high-skilled job and open a company or become self-employed. Now, obviously, I would say open a company. If you become self-employed, you have a higher self-employment tax, and you got all sorts of issues there. But still, it's still better than being an employee working for a company. All right. Now, obviously, if the work that you do is very hard to translate into your own company or your own self-employed, then you have to stay at your high-paying job and you're making just a buttload of money and you just have to do it, then maximize your deductions through Roth IRAs, health savings plans, traditional 401ks, all the traditional ways that you lower your taxes down. And obviously, write off your house is your large deduction. But then, after you've done all that, also open a business. A business that you plan to make money. Now, try to make it a different occupation. You don't want to get in trouble with your employer because you're actually in competition with your own employer. That's just common sense. Obviously, don't start a business that's the same as your current business with your employee. If you're high skilled, you could get fired and then you lose everything. So start a business that's not related. It's a side business that you are planning on making money, and use that to use the deductions. All right. Now you've got 2 credit cards. Once again, got your business credit card for your business expenses that you're going to write off. And then you have your personal expenses, which you're going to not write off because they're personal expenses like food, diapers, clothes, the basic stuff that you know IRS is no bueno. Got to pay the taxes, right? So, back to that original argument. Taxes. Don't pay them legally. Get advice legally. Obviously, you have to pay taxes. Everybody has to pay taxes. I'm about to pay my property tax, and it's like, I don't know, $40,000. So imagine writing a $40,000 check, and there's no way around property tax. When you own a ton of real estate, you're going to pay, and that just goes up every year. They're like, oh yeah, that house that you bought for $100,000, it's now worth $110,000. So give me 10% more taxes this year. And then you have to try to explain, no, it's not worth that, but maybe it is, but maybe it isn't. Those taxes go, my property tax, there's no way to get out of property tax, but property tax obviously is being paid for by the renter. All right, when they pay their rent, they pay their $1,000 a month rent, obviously taxes is one of the line items on that $1,000 a month rent. So technically, I'm not paying those property taxes that have to go to the local state government. So lower your tax burden legally. Find a tax CPA that can help you out and get your taxes lowered. Seek legal advice if necessary, a lawyer, a tax lawyer if necessary, if it's really complicated. Do your own research. It's very important that you do your own research before. Try to figure out what you're trying to accomplish and lower your overall tax burden legally without any issues so that you can, that's the other thing, always do everything legally. That way you can sleep sound at night, and that way you can't build a business if you're doing anything that isn't above board. That way, whenever anybody shows up, anybody looks into your stuff, everything is legit, legal, and you don't have anything to worry about. Everything can be smooth sailing. You do, and there's so many legal ways with a business and with real estate. There's so many legal ways. There's no reason for you to ever play any of the weird games. All right, and most people don't because it's just not necessary. If you're a business owner, you can write off all, you can write off a portion of your cell phone, cars, computers, everything that you need to run that business you can write off. So why would you play any games? There's no need to. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Let's save some money, let's make some money, and let's get rich together. Let's all become rich millionaires.